All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this weekend episode of The Truth with Ben Jokes, your favorite political talk show. Now, to play the Nigerian dirty politics and grab power is one thing, but to govern is quite another. The APC have snatched and grabbed power, but under their watch, Nigeria is sinking daily. I went through many top stories as I planned to make this video. I couldn't find a single one that was positive. So I had to bring the truth to Nigerians. This is the true state of the nation under the APC right now. A sinking ship. But amidst all these, TINUBU is nowhere to be found. Since the 18th of August this month, I doubt if this man has spent up to 72 hours in this country. After his 3-day trip to Equatorial Guinea, he went to Germany. From Germany, he went to France. Then he returned from France briefly, I think about 3 days ago, to swear in the new CJN, Kekereekun. And yesterday, he flew out of Nigeria again to China. None of these trips has any economic significance on this country. He's just going around the world on taxpayers' money, enjoying himself while the country is burning. And shortly after he jetted out to China yesterday, Boko Haram launched one of their most brutal attacks this year on students in Yobe State. And as soon as this news broke out, Nigerians began to weep. And almost at that same time, another update came up. Gunmen wreaked havoc in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, while Wike was away in Rivers State trying to become relevant again. You can imagine, the two of them have fled their jobs, seeking for other things that have no bearing on the lives of the average Nigerian. Before I show you these attacks by Boko Haram on students in Yobe State that left Nigerians in tears, and the havoc wreaked by gunmen in Abuja, let me quickly show you this video of former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, speaking on the TINUBU regime. See the video.
When you look at all those things, indigenizing the economy, making sure that your people are productive, right? There's no glamour in saying your people are going through hard times. It's not a glamorous thing. It's a failure of your leadership. If I'm head of a family, I want my family to have the best of everything. I don't want life to be difficult to them. If life is difficult and I feel I've failed to provide for them or do the things I ought to have done. So we need to see it in that way. We need to see, I would ask him to see the Nigerian nation as his family. What is good for your family is good for the nation. If you adopt that mental attitude, that I'm going to make sure that the Nigerian is able to live a fulfilled life. And when I talk of productivity, I'm talking about acquiring the right skills, acquiring a good education, having good health care, putting the infrastructure in place, and ensuring that there's orderliness and security in the society. Then I can now beat my chest. Buying a new aircraft or yacht or whatever, or living large, and it's a failure. It's a failure. I mean, you can't have kids who are hungry and you are living lavishly and going to parties and wearing the biggest agbada. We need to, when there's a protest is like your kids coming to tell you that, Daddy, I'm not happy with you. I have failed. You have failed to do this and do that for me. I would ask him to really rethink a number of things that are going on and test his policies. The policy of floating the currency, I think, was a mistake because it wasn't thought through. Because the largest pressure on the Nigerian currency is the importation of fuel. And the way it's being done is fueled by corruption. So we're paying the price for it. I mean, if you take care of the things that ought to have been taken care of, like I said, the things that we can manufacture here, we insist. Increase tariff on things that we really don't need to dissuade people from seeking to import them, encouraging people to manufacture the things that you can give concessions to young men, go produce this, we'll assure you that the market is there for it and all that, and we will not encourage others, we will dissuade others from importing those items because we're going to hike the tariff on those things. We need to focus on productivity.
And that was former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke there. He said the purchase of a jet means failure for Tinubu, and it is as simple as that. He said the floating of the Naira policy was not properly thought out. That's exactly what we have been saying here for months. And of course, after criticizing the Tinubu regime, he went ahead to say we need to focus on productivity, which has been the message of Peter Obi to Nigerians. Okonjo-Iweala was speaking some days ago at a conference, and she pointed out that Nigeria has not recorded an increase in GDP since the time of Jonathan. Our GDP has been going backwards. Can you imagine that? We dropped from being the biggest economy in Africa to being number 5 now. The economy of Nigeria under the APC has disobeyed all the laws of economics known to man. Few days ago, we were said to have recorded a drop in the rate of inflation on paper, but in the market, prices of goods were going up. What a contradiction. The APC under Tinubu has taken Nigeria many decades backwards, and it is time the people rise to kick them out of power. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at the havoc wreaked by Boko Haram on students in Yobe State and the gunmen attack in the FCT while Tinubu and Wike are out flexing. Let's start by taking the Boko Haram attack in Yobe State. Look at how the papers reported it. Boko Haram terrorists storm Yobe school around 4 a.m., bring out students and shoot them dead, reporters. In an act of terrorism, suspected Boko Haram insurgents launched an attack on Faudiya School situated in the Gaidam local government area of Yobe State. This educational institution, affiliated with the Islamic Movement in Nigeria, IMN, a prominent Shia sect in the country, was tragically transformed into a scene of unspeakable carnage. According to credible sources who spoke to Daily Trust, the assailants descended upon the Hausari quarters in Gaidam local government area at the unholy hour of 3:44 a.m. on Friday. Under the cover of darkness, the terrorists exploited the vulnerability of the victims who were sleeping. As reported by Daily Trust, sources revealed that the gunmen struck while the students were deep in sleep, rendering them defenseless against the sudden and deadly onslaught. This callous and calculated attack has left an indelible scar on the community, claiming the precious lives of the students. The incident occurred at around 3:44 a.m. when the gunmen invaded Faudiya School, a well-known Shiite school in Gaidam, a source said. They attacked the school when these youths were asleep and brought them outside and shot them dead. There is tension and concern in the town after this incident. People are terrified over this unfortunate incident, he said. We are yet to even know the number of casualties. We don't know the number yet, but you know all those their schools. There can be as many as possible. They stormed the school at that ungodly hour, dragged them out in their sleep and shot them dead. Young teenagers. I can just imagine the fear and the confusion on their faces before they were shot. Killed in that manner. Atrocious acts under the APC. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Oga Mayor says, terrorism is not yet punishable by death in Nigeria. It is safer to be a terrorist in Nigeria than to be either a journalist or an opposition voice. Nigeria keeps failing the people as the leaders have totally weaponized insecurity in Nigeria. And Obum says, repentant amnesty program is offered to them. That is it. After a while, they will carry these terrorists now and ingratiate them into the army. They will say they have repented. And this tweet here says, I still don't understand how Nigeria became this worse over time. Of course, the APC. And Ogbeni D1 says, the North and APC created the problem due to Jonathan's weakness. Now, the monster they created is something they can't control. Boko Haram existed during OBJ's era, but was not allowed to function. That is it. The APC, Tinubu Buhari all of them gathered to create these monsters. And Adewale Damilare here says, imagine, our politicians groomed them. Now the monsters are proving to be beyond them. That is it. And this tweet here by Henry says, no statement from any Nigerian security operatives yet, but once it is a planned protest about bad governance, boom, all of them will become social activists in few hours. That is it. When it comes to protest, all of them will rise up. But look at this despicable act that took place in Yobe State. They are all quiet. Now, for those who will say that what happened to those students in Yobe State happened because it was in faraway Yobe State, where insurgency has taken over, let me announce to you that even the FCT Abuja is not safe. There have been many occasions when gunmen went into estates in Abuja and abducted residents. Listen to this update. Gunmen kill man, abduct wife, children in Abuja community. Reporters. A man identified as Mr. Felix Chuks has been killed by gunmen suspected to be bandits at Ushafa community in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. Reporters gathered that his wife and 2 children were abducted in the incident that happened on Thursday midnight. A security source confirmed the attack to reporters on Friday, noting that the gunmen stormed the area at midnight with heavy gunfire. The gunmen stormed the area at the midnight with heavy gunfire. Security operatives are currently in the area, he said. Efforts to solicit a response from the FCT police spokesperson SP Josephine Ade proved unsuccessful as she failed to answer repeated calls and neglected to respond to messages sent to her mobile phone, leaving the inquiry unresolved at the time of filing this report. Now, they stormed the community and they were firing heavily. It's not as if they crept into the community. They stormed the community announcing their arrival. And this is what they've been doing. But they will come and tell you that the FCT is safe, is secure. That is not the truth. We are bringing you the real position of things now. People have imposed curfew on themselves in the FCT. Before, you see people staying out until around 11:45. Nowadays, once it is 7, 8, you see people running to their homes because of how insecure the place has become. But they lie in the media that everything is fine. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. And this tweet here by Honest says, let's get together and decide our fate as a people if actually we are free men and women. Nigeria has done us much more evil than good. Better we dissolve the country as a result while we still can. You cannot question people who think like this, because if it will not work, it's better it does not exist. Because you cannot tell me that all these things, insecurity, all these bandits and kidnappers, gunmen, are beyond the Nigerian military, the Nigerian security forces. They are not beyond us. This is just negligence of government and complicity of the same. They are not beyond us. So instead of wasting people's lives, why not just dissolve it? And this tweet here by Amaka Shalom says, please be specific. It happened at Ushafa yesterday night under Buhari local government area, not too far from me. Really afraid right now. This is somebody who lives in the same area where this event took place, and she's saying she's still shell shocked. And this tweet here by Kele says, I heard the gunshot all through yesterday. God, I beg you. This is another person who is almost an eyewitness. Heard the gunshot all through yesterday. So when these guys were shooting and gunshots was everywhere, where was the police? Where were the military? But if it is to pounce on defenseless civilians, they can do that. If it is to roll out all the armor tanks, you need to see the armor tanks that these guys brought out during the End Bad Governance protest. But bandits can enter anywhere they like and abduct. Then when people say that the security forces are working together with them, you start looking for those people to arrest. You say it's treason. Don't we have brains? Can't we add 1 and 1 together to make 2? This thing, everything is pointing to that fact that you guys are working together. So what do you want the people to say? But this is the APC. I don't expect anything different. I keep saying it. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And Nigerians will do themselves good if they put aside their sentiments and come together to get the APC out of power. And on that note, we won't be quiet. We will continue to speak up until we see Nigeria walk or see it peacefully disintegrate. And this is where I draw the curtain on this Friday night production. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.